All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's going on, Patreon? All you Colts fans out there, or non-Colts fans, I don't know. You know, we're just sitting here chilling, talking about training camp that we watched today. And I got a wonderful little visitor here. My girl Kitty. It takes off running. I wasn't trying to scare her off, but there she is. She didn't want to be picked up. I was going to show her to everybody. Sorry about my hair. Hat day. Yeah, so it was fun. FYI, if you plan on going to camp and you're coming from the north, don't take 31. It's like a 45-minute delay. We found that out today, didn't we, Loyalist?
Yes, sir, we did.
It was pretty awful. Made us about 20 minutes late to the practice, man. It was awful. But, yeah. Overall, I had a great day, man. Actually met Cody Felger from Bring the Juice. Had a nice little one-on-one with him. We sat together, right, and watched and kind of conversed. The three of us did. You brought your family. I believe they all had a good time as well.
They had an amazing time. The one I was worried about, to be honest, was my daughter. And she was even giving it a real good review for, the camp and just, the football thing is not really her thing as much, but just all the interaction. And then how was it? All the guys with the cute butts.
Yeah. It was Kids Day today, and it was pretty darn obvious. There was more kids there today than there was adults. Stands were crowded. It was so crowded in the stands that people was standing around the fence line, right? Packed up on the fence line. And the Colts showed their appreciation today, was what they normally do, right? Did some pretty cool stuff with that. At the end of practice, even though we are in COVID protocol and we weren't allowed to, have any contact with them. They can't walk up to the fence line and sign autographs and stuff. They had this huge barrel. It was like it was bigger than like a pickled herring barrel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was bigger than one of those, stuffed full of little foam footballs, right? Little foam footballs. And at the end of practice, they went out there, and I thought this was so cool because all the players had Sharpies, and they signed these little footballs, and they threw them out to the stands. And, I'm trying to do my best. I'm 6'6". If I wanted to, I could have hoarded probably 15 of these things. No question. I got 5 of them just kind of haphazardly. Except for one. I specifically got and kept this one. But I caught 5 or 6 of them, and I was just passing them out to kids, that didn't have one at the time. And then I turn around and look, and I see people with 5 or 6 of them hoarding them. Adults at that with like 5 or 6 of them holding them and hoarding them. And I'm like, this is supposed to be for the kids, Yes, I kept one, but that's because it was signed by Kenny Moore. All right. I'm keeping that.
20%. You're supposed to keep 20%.
Well, there you go. Both your kids got Darius Leonard signed little footballs,
Yes, I would love to say, Darius, thank you very much. It was cool because my daughter, she loves kids and stuff. So she kept the first couple she handed them to little kids. And so Darius was like, this one's yours. And then he missed her and this one's yours. And she took it. And he's like, Darius was just awesome, as always.
Yeah, as always. What's up, Joe? Appreciate you being in here, man. Like I said, those of you, if you're watching, I should have sent you a link to join the chat, just watch like what you're doing right now, Joe, or you could join the stream itself. That other link to join actually brings you in the StreamYard and be part of the broadcast, man, if you want to do that. So it's only Patreons today. Now tomorrow I'm going to make this public on YouTube, but for the first 24 hours, whenever me and Loyalist does, show up to camp, either me and him or one or the other, because there'll probably be days when he goes to camp and I don't, or vice versa, we're going to do these live Patreons for you guys. And, throw your questions out there. Anything that we know about or saw, we will definitely report on it, let you know what we thought. And today, I'm hearing Jacob Eason got hammered by reporters today saying that he wasn't any good. And honestly, every time I've watched Jacob Eason, he's looked decent.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had some hiccups. Every quarterback has hiccups, though, right? Even Andrew Luck and Peyton Manning have hiccups in training camp and practice. It happens. But overall, I thought he did really well. I mean,
yeah, and you know what? I think some of that may be. I mean, and I was thinking about this just while you were talking. Is there was a few passes that Jacob threw today, okay, and they weren't caught, but I remember thinking a few times, like you'd stated, these balls were in the only place that his receiver could possibly catch them.
yes.
You know what I mean? But yet, I feel like maybe these people that are saying he had a bad day, they're not worried about ball placement. They're just more worried about catches and incompletions.
Yeah.
Which I understand to some extent, but I mean, you got to count in the receiver having a bad day. So the way, like you said, if that pass is where you need it to be, that's what we're trying to accomplish. The end result, that'll get better and better over the weeks.
Exactly. I mean, he's overthrowing players on deep routes when there's no defender past his guy. And he's just barely overthrowing, except for that one rollout that he had that was a bad throw. I mean, he overthrew him 20 yards. But, like the overthrow to T.Y., just off his fingertips, right? And
that was like a 45-yard pass.
Oh, it was a touchdown, yeah, easy.
Yeah.
But he nailed Doyle on a deep throw. He hit Paris Campbell on a crosser. He hit Mo Alley Cox on a sideline throw on a pretty good play as well. I mean, I thought overall he did well.
He made this beautiful pass to Michael Pittman Jr. Pittman was like, the defender was right in front of him, and it almost looked like a timing pass because Pittman just stepped inside and the ball was right on top of him. And that was another one that was about 15, 20 yards into the end zone.
Yeah.
And that one, just the connect, you could see the residual effect of him and Pittman having, a little bit more time together last year and stuff.
It's like the one okay, so there's two interceptions thrown tonight. One by Eason. But that interception wasn't on him at all, right? That's like saying when Rivers threw the interception to Mo Alley Cox at the end zone last year that was on Rivers. It wasn't on Rivers. Hit him square in the hands and it bounced up. That was the receiver's fault at that point. And that's exactly what happened with Eason. He hit his receiver dead in the hands, and the guy didn't catch it, bounced the ball up, caught, interception. So, like you said, and I was noticing this with Eason, he was literally trying to lead the receivers and place the ball to where only his guys can catch him, right? If his guys ain't catching him, the other guys ain't catching him for sure, And I think that's a smart way of going about it. Guys, I think that had great days. I mean, I thought everyone's saying, "Oh, well, the defense was great." Well, yes, the defense played very well today. Overall. But honestly, I think yes, the running backs looked pretty good. The tight ends looked good.
Tight ends looked amazing.
Jack Doyle looked like Jack Doyle from 7 years ago. I mean, he really did. He looked solid out there. He was catching and running, and oh my goodness, Jack Doyle put a move on a guy. I can't remember who it was that was covering him, but he did he faked a post and went on an out route, lost the dude completely. I mean, he got at least 7-8 yards separation from him.
It wasn't just any dude. That was Kari Willis too. Remember?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He put Kari
Kari
Willis
was
on
just
skates.
like, there he's going.
Yeah.
You know, somebody. I would say the top two performers on the day for me was both one offense, one defense, and I think that was Jack Doyle and Bobby Okereke. I felt like those two guys, as far as performing above and consistently above, you know, where you would expect on day 4. I think those were the two that stood out the most for me personally. Yeah,
Jack Doyle definitely, but in my opinion, Kimiko Ture was the guy on defense. I know that, you know, yes, Okereke did a very good job today. I thought Kimiko Ture looked incredible today. Joe says, Wentz missing a little time might be a good thing, so Eason can finally get some reps with the first team since Wentz worked out with him a lot this spring. Now, yes, but Eason apparently, outside of practice, hasn't thrown to, like, Pascal. Hasn't thrown to Hilton. He's thrown to Pittman, and he's thrown to Campbell. And you could see that. You could see, because the timing with Pittman and Campbell with Eason is, like, on the money, right? Mm-hmm. But you brought up a good point. And I'm going to bring it up anyhow. I don't care because it kind of makes me a little weirded out. T.Y. doesn't practice with the other wide receivers. Yeah. He's on his own. He's not doing the wide receiver drills and stuff like that with them. He only goes out there when it's first team 11 on 11. Right?
Yeah.
And that's an issue. I mean, I would like him to go out there when they're doing wide receiver drills, when the quarterbacks are throwing to the wide receivers with a single guy covering them, you know, one-on-one drills, and the that helps. That helps your quarterbacks get timing with you, and I think Ty is missing out in this aspect, especially with the new guys like Eason, right? Yeah. Because you could definitely tell. He's got timing with a lot of other guys on that team, just not some of the, you know, bigger name dudes, especially Ty.
Do you think that's more of just a veteran privilege? Do you think that's what he's just sort of saving the reps, keeping the wear on his body maybe down, just because he is, you know, so well established with the team?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. Well, I'm glad that Joe was able to join. Do we have anybody else watching from Patreon? If you are, slip in the chat and say hi. If you're watching this on Patreon right now, hit the like button for me. It'll help when I turn this to, you know, public tomorrow. And then, of course, if you're watching this afterwards, don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, tag that notification bell so you're notified next time I go live. But sorry, I have to throw that spiel out there. But yeah, man, I loved today. I thought today was freaking fan. It was a little crowded for me. I got this little, I kind of have like this little claustrophobia thing when it comes to crowds. I had to stand up a lot and go over to the fence line and kind of stand by the fence line to get away from people. Half the time it was so that I could get a good look at what was going on, because they were all on the wrong side of the field this time. Right? I mean, they went to field 2. Yeah. And last time we were there, they were on field 1. And there was no point in getting up and moving to field 2 because it was packed over there already. You know?
Yeah, it was a real good turnout today.
Oh, yeah, it was. But it was a Saturday, and it was Kids' Day, so I understand it. So I'm going to go to more weekday stuff. Happy y'all at work. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I had a blast, man. Ellinger.
I'm sorry. Just something that was cool about the day was because we've got a couple of the corners that are in the protocol, and then Kenny Moore today was sitting out. It didn't appear that there was an injury relation or anything. Have you heard anything? Yeah, but the nice thing was we got to see some cornerback play today that it was very unusual. Some of the guys, it was one of those where like, okay, which one's that? I had to look through the roster and stuff. But there was a couple little flashes that where you were like, okay, you got something. So that was interesting. And then also, it just seemed like with Ryan out and stuff, you got to see a lot of Danny Penter and Joey Hunt, is it? Yeah. Hunt. So we got to see a couple of those guys.
And, what's his name? Not just Hunt. He's got an odd last name, like Burowitz or something. I can't remember his name. He was on the team last year as well. Eldon Cramp. Jake Eldon Cramp played some today too. And, oh my goodness. Oh, Grover Stewart. Ooh, that man, he showed up today.
Yes, he did. Then the interior was having to work today to keep him at bay.
Oh my goodness. There was a time where I didn't even think that there was an offensive lineman on the field. Because as soon as the ball was snapped, Grover Stewart was in the backfield, right in Eason's face, right?
Yep.
And you're like, holy cow. Kamiko Toure, I thought, was really fast today, working the edge. I don't think Sam Tebby nor Will Holden really did that good of a job today. Quiddy Pay got over on Tebby once. Kamiko got over Holden a couple times. So, yeah.
It was one interesting thing about Quiddy was, you could sit there and like you said, you could see he had a couple good flashes and stuff, but then there was a couple where, they were clearly just good coaching moments. You could sit there and every time right after the play was over, he was up there talking to the coaches. Normally they'll run one or two cycles before they switch them out.
Mm-hmm.
And if there was something where Quiddy got stoned or pretty, in his tracks or whatever, the coaches were right there, hey, let's talk about this. Let's get so you got to see a lot of good coaching going on today.
See, and that's funny because, the reporters are talking about Quiddy Pay had a great day. And I'm sitting there going, Quiddy Pay got stoned by Tebby over and over and over today. I mean stoned, like what you're talking about, Yeah. Now, he got over on Holden once or twice, but Tebby really, he held his own on him. Tebby had issue with Toure because Toure's just got stupid speed. But, yeah. Cornerback-wise, for the most part, they were like glue most of the night. They did a good job. Both, everybody's like wanting to know, who's going to take that 2 spot, I understand, is it going to be Rock? Is it going to be Tell? And again, I'm hearing Tell over and over, but I thought Rock played incredible today.
Yeah. For me, there was a couple that I was like, I wasn't happy with his position. And the thing that drove me nuts, how they move, within the 20, and it seemed like the two that stood out the most were inside the 20.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seemed like he didn't cut off that inside lane. And that one beautiful pass that Eason dropped off to Pittman Jr., I think was on Tell. Sorry.
No. It was on Rock. It was on Rock. And that one was Rock was playing man-to-man.
Mm-hmm.
And Pittman played that beautifully. Pittman waited for the ball to get close to him in the air before he cut towards the ball to catch it, which gave him that little slight separation from Rock. That was more a good on Pittman than it was a bad on Rock. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was just a good offensive maneuver by Michael Pittman Jr. To get that reception. But Rock was generally all over. It's not like he gave up yardage or anything. He wasn't burnt. He had good coverage right up to the point where Pittman was like, okay, now break for the ball, and it was just, that's just how it turned out, man.
Yeah. And do you remember who was guarding TY on that overthrow from Eason? Because I'm telling you right now, whoever it was, I just remember TY had 3-4 yards on him.
I don't remember.
Yeah. And like you said, Eason just was like, this is too good, and he just launched that thing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, he's not used to throwing the TY. He's used to throwing to Campbell and Pittman. He probably figured Campbell had about the same speed of TY, but Campbell's a little bit of a bigger guy than TY also. He probably overthrew. Had that been Paris Campbell, that might have been a touchdown. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that was to TY, and he hadn't had those reps with TY yet. So it's just a learning experience for him.
Yeah.
It's cool,
And I do want to make a message to all those guys that have been saying that Jack Doyle's getting a little long in the tooth. Not only did he have a good day today, guys, he made this 18-yard out on the sideline, and it shown signs of that TY catch where they had to do the replay to make sure that both feet got. I mean, this thing was spot on, and it was one of those where it wasn't a window. It was a window on the outside, and Jack went up and got that, and it was just like, man, I love seeing that.
Yep, tiptoed in, and he made a beautiful play, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the tight ends looked really good today. Honestly, I don't know, man, about, like, Okereke has to step up because Leonard's not playing, right? You got guys playing center because Kelly's out. That honestly, that could be another issue with why the defense has had a lot more on the offense. Because a lot of offensive players are out.
Yeah.
When you have a D line, the entire D line is healthy, right? And you got backups playing at different positions on the offensive line, especially center. Don't underestimate how important Ryan Kelly is to this offensive line. He is that glue. Everyone thinks it's Quentin Nelson. Quentin Nelson's the hammer. The guy who keeps that line together is Kelly, right? And
absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So, Hey, what's going on, Ross? Appreciate you in here, man. Thanks. That's 2 of you now. That's 3 if I'm going to count Loyalist, because I'm assuming he's got it going too.
Absolutely.
See? What's going on? But yeah, it was a much more mild day, at least. It wasn't like Wednesday when the sun was killing my face.
Yeah, the weather was so perfect. I mean, I'm a very large dude, and other than the fact that because we got there so late, I had to walk 17 football fields. I broke in a good lather then, but the rest of the day I was like, okay, I feel normal. This is good.
So I will also want to thank, real quick, Ross, before you go. He says he's going to join here in a minute to annoy us. I got a signed mini football today. See this mini football? It's signed by New England Patriots legend Kenny Moore. Oh, I just had to get that one in there a little bit. But
I got a question for you. For you,
yeah.
Who was your biggest surprise today?
Like good or bad?
I don't care. Just what was your biggest surprise?
Honestly, number 6.
Yeah, he was. Yes, that young man. He's not. He doesn't have a pistol. He's like Carson and Jacob. I mean, he's got himself a nice. I mean, he's not. It's not a howitzer, but I will tell you, it is a cannon. Yeah. For me, the biggest surprise, pleasant surprise, for me was Isaac Rochelle. he spent a lot of he spent a lot of time over on and this wasn't against Holden. I did see him get stoned by Quentin one time when he slipped into the the D tackle, but he was spending a lot of time over on the Glowinski and Braden, and I'll tell you right now, he was popping off that ball like he knew everybody was watching him. I was really impressed because I definitely, I've heard you compare him to Danico Autry and stuff, and I guess I was just sort of hesitant to go there. I seen him in Notre Dame and I understood, but I hadn't. I understand now. I understand because, like you said, he was coming off that ball and it was like his hair was on fire until the play was over.
Yeah.
And he was just all day long, just constantly working and grinding. And I saw so many different pass moves from him than I saw when he was in college. It was just, I was like, oh, wow, this has got some potential.
So if you guys haven't seen, if you look right over here beside Loyalist, NPS, Matthew Stansberry, and Chen Andrews, thank you so much for joining Patreon. I appreciate that. I decided to start doing these whether I had 15 or not, and I've gotten 3 new Patreons since I've done this, and so that's cool, get some people in here. Heck, I do this for you guys, This is what I do it for. Another guy that's kind of surprised me, besides Jalen Morton, because really I thought Jalen played better than Sam Ehlinger by far. Sam Ehlinger's been a disappointment so far this camp to me. I knew he didn't have much of an arm, when it comes to like arm strength, but he's not. His accuracy isn't that good either, and that's a problem. If you don't have arm strength, then you better have accuracy in order to, make up for that, like Phillip Rivers. But he doesn't have enough accuracy to make up for that arm strength, so that's a problem in my eyes. We'll see here. You guys got any questions? Joe, is there anything you want to know news-wise from what we saw in camp today? I don't know, man. We've been sitting here for 30 minutes, and I'm just trying to stretch this out a little bit for you guys, man.
Well, you want to talk about our newest addition? Because he was out there today. We got to see him throwing the ball a little bit today, so that was...
Go ahead.
Okay, camp coming out of Arizona. Starting to talk about him all day, and I can't remember. Hubbard? Is that right? Is it Hubbard?
Oh, hold on. I'm not 100% sure. He's not on the roster yet, so I can't look.
It was funny because we sat there and we're like, number 3 and a quarterback. When did Rigoberto?
Rigoberto's out there. Wait.
Yeah, I want to say Dwayne Hubbard.
Rigoberto's number 8.
Or not, yeah, I know. But Dwayne Hubbard, like I said, I think that's his name and stuff. But he was out there and it was just sort of, when I got there, I wasn't aware that he was already going to be in town. I fully expected, when I heard the news that the Colts had picked somebody up, I thought it would be, Monday before we ever even thought of seeing him.
Brett Hundley.
So, Hundley. Yeah, that's close. Don't tell his parents. But yeah, like I said, he was out there and didn't really see a lot, like whenever the quarterbacks weren't doing drills or something, he sort of stood back and just watched the offense run and stuff. But it was a bit of a surprise. But interesting to see where that evolves, if anything comes from it, because I would say, and I'm not trying to pile on the young man or anything, but I would say that, he even probably outperformed, Sam a little bit today.
Running backs, Joe brings up Marlon Mack. Wants to know what we thought of Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack's been freaking fantastic. Marlon Mack looks like Marlon Mack of 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
He does.
Marlon Mack sat there and did this nice little double move today, and I was, and here's the thing, it's like after seeing him Monday, and I was just like, oh wow, okay, he's way ahead of what I thought, what I had sort of in my mind. So then today, whenever he did it, it wasn't, oh wow, it was like, yeah, that's what you expect.
That's what you expect. Marlon
right.
Mack is what you expect from Marlon Mack. All right, and
in the good way.
In a good way. In all honesty, I think Marlon runs better than Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor's more explosive, has a better ability of breaking tackles, but Marlon has this really beautiful way of avoiding being hit directly when he's carrying the football, like shifting in and around through traffic, through the wash. He's just so good at that, setting up his blocks. I mean,
that right there, I think, is the biggest difference between him and JT. Is just like you said, his patience and the way he sets his blockers up. I know them front five got to be loving that.
No kidding. He'll put his hand on a lineman and just kind of give a nudge and let him know, go this way or go that way, and it works out beautifully. Now, if Jonathan Taylor ever learns how to do that, he's going to be the best running back in the NFL. But, you're right, Joe. JT's a freaking battering ram with a rocket. He's a rocket-powered battering ram. Yeah, if he could bust through that wall, still on his feet, he's gone. That's basically what it is. But once he learns to be a little bit more patient, learns how to use those blockers a little bit better, he could be really dangerous. But I got a feeling, this year, I think Marlon Mack is going to be not just on another team next year. I think Marlon Mack is going to be a major featured back on another team next year. I really do. I don't
disagree at all. And the only part I hope, maybe if we can find a way to pull it off, is maybe we can keep him. But yeah, I know that's slim to none. But yeah, like you said, he's definitely going to help himself this year. I think coming back and playing one more year with us and getting into that stronger market and stuff next year, I think Marlon Mack's going to find that his career is going the way he wants it.
What up, MTS? Thanks for being in here, man. Ross says
just
that. Huh?
I tell him we just announced him.
Yeah, all right. He says, Kids Day, Hot Moms Day. Thanks for the coverage. There was a lot of pretty women out there. I'm not going to lie. There was a lot of pretty women out there, but we're both married men. Okay?
I was going to say, my wife was there, so yes.
Yeah. I stole the balls from the kids. No, I didn't. I gave them to the children.
Gave away 80% of his haul.
I kept one, but I passed out the rest. To kids that didn't have any. That's the problem. You have these little 3-4-year-old kids, man, with this pouty-eyed look on their face, and I'm like, they need one. They can't fight for their own, Oh, you're catching up on the video, was doing some gaming. Oh, okay. All right. You're trying to join, but no. There. Aha. What? There he is. And he's being I'm not. Hold on. Let me break it down. There we go. Soon to be throwing INTs.
Oh no! I threw it.
That's the wrong one, but that's cool. I'll deal with that. That's not us.
I know. I was trying to be nice to you this time.
Yeah, that's cool, man. What's going on, Ross?
Oh my God, Patriots Nation is burning, and it's hilarious.
Really?
And I'm just so glad you guys are having a good, unified, preseason while the whole fan base is trying to murder each other on the Patriots. I'm very happy for you guys.
Well, not really. I mean, there is the Carson Wentz injury, right?
Yeah, I heard the bad news, my friend.
But there's still no news about the injury. We don't know what's wrong with him. The Colts, they were supposed to find out this morning.
But medical stuff, just one thing that has a hiccup, you got to run 12 more tests.
Yeah.
It's just, I wouldn't get too worried because for all we know, it's a stub toe that they think is broken. They overreact every time. It's like,
you
again, how
take
many
everything serious. You always, when it comes to a guy that you're paying $25 million a year, you better take every little thing serious. Now, the Colts ain't paying him 25, but he's making 25 this year.
Well,
total.
you guys got the better end of that deal, I'll say.
Yeah.
You guys got the way better end of that deal. Hey, Colts Loyalist, it's nice to finally meet you. Very
nice to meet
funny
you,
guy.
sir. How you doing?
On Twitter here and there.
Yeah.
I'm the idiot with the stupid photoshops.
I told Lawrence, I was like, I'm glad Ross and you get along real well. I wasn't sure how he's going to be about having all that ugly name on there.
Ross is really cool and easy to get along with. He's a joker, and he can take it as well as he can give it. All right.
Well, again, I'm a football fan, and again, everyone's gonna probably yell at me for this, but I'm a football fan first.
Mm-hmm.
Like growing up, I just love football, everything about it. And generally, I don't get into rivalries really too much. I just love football. Again, people like to get all bent out of shape during this. I like talking to people who know about football just like I do. And generally, I'm not going to jump on me because I don't know every fact and statistic.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these young kids break it down. It's like I've been watching since '86, but am I supposed to remember the stats from back then? No, leave me alone.
Right. It's like I was a fan.
That's from last week.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about being a fan for so long is a lot of these guys start reminding you of people that you used to watch when you were younger. I tried to bring up, okay, so the Colts have a running back that reminds me, Jordan Wilkins, his running style reminds me of Eric Dickerson. I'm not saying I'm not saying he's as good as Dickerson.
But the potential is there. That's the thing. Something to look forward to. Everyone always takes that as a negative. Yeah. It's like he's nothing like that. And it's like, give him time. It's something exciting to look forward to.
Jordan Wilkins runs straight back and real smooth. It's like gliding. You don't see his head bopping when he steps.
Now I gotta get my vape pen because of you.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, don't smoke, ladies and gentlemen. It's not good for you, but I have a habit, so my bad.
Yes, don't smoke and drink. Don't smoke and drink. My Lagavulin ready to be open soon.
Yeah. Well, that's cool that you joined. That's awesome. You're the first actual Patreon supporter that's actually joined. But then again, this is only my second live Patreon stream, so.
It takes people a little bit of time to get comfortable with talking on any sort of camera or video conference. They think it's really difficult to do, but honestly, you just log in, make a little StreamYard account, buy some green felt, and you put stupid things behind you. It's really hilarious.
Yeah, all right.
As you saw from my ESPN one I put on last time you were on. I didn't want to put that on your stream.
Well, I mean, I've done some stuff on Ray's Patreon a few times, like, jokers and, you know what I'm talking about, stuff like that. So, yeah.
But the thing I am really jealous about the Colts is all the stuff coming out of camp from what I see on Twitter. It's I guess I'm desperate for positivity just because you guys are just your fans are positive.
Yeah.
The players seem like it's just there's so much that can happen this season for them because that defense looks disgusting.
Oh, the defense has looked good ever since opening day of camp.
Yes, sir.
I'm not looking forward to December.
And we don't even have half of our starters. Darius Leonard isn't playing. Let's see here. Darius Leonard's not playing. TJ Carey's not playing. Xavier Rhodes isn't playing.
Yep, I heard about that.
No Darius Leonard. I don't know if I said Kenny Moore wasn't playing today. He was there, but he
Yep.
wasn't playing. So, yeah, that's weird. Oh, my goodness, Joe. What? Had a collapsed lung, then pneumonia, and started up after you healed. Blame my wife.
Oh, jeez.
He quit smoking for a month because he had a collapsed lung and pneumonia. That sucks, dude. And then you started to get... You know what? You know why I'm smoking? My ex-wife. All right? I quit for a month, too. I quit for a month. And then I was so nasty because of Nick Fitz. But she went out and bought me a pack of cigarettes.
Me and my wife were on vacation. It was my first week of quitting smoking after smoking for probably 14 years, 15 years. I snapped at her once. It was the last time I ever snapped at her. It was the first week is the worst. Once you can get past that hump, and like again, vaping is not much better for you. Except you're not getting all that tar in your lungs. It's a supplement. I get that. But ever since then, I can run a mile. I'm not breathing heavy going up and down the stairs. That was it for me, and she hated the smell. So again, happy wife, happy life.
Yeah,
Well,
my
I quit
problem
smoking about 4.5 years ago, and I still get winded walking upstairs.
Well, I hate stairs. My house I'm building, it's all one floor. I'm telling you.
Yeah, if I ever get to build a house, I'm going to have the biggest dumbwaiter ever made.
Just to bring
You just
groceries
lost half
around.
of the people that were talking. They're like,
I
"What's
know,
that?"
right? Yeah, that's just what happens when you get the older generation in here talking on a live stream.
And there's my wife calling. Just 1 second, I'll send her a message.
All good.
Somebody else I did want to mention real quick before.
Yep.
Hadn't got to see him much Wednesday or anything, but Antoine Woods, which, like you said, I know he was going against a little bit of a disheveled interior, but tell you what, he looked pretty decent out there today too.
Yeah, he did. He got stoned a couple times, but there was a couple times where he got over on the one-on-ones that yeah, I've seen that today. Yeah.
So what?
Jack Doyle is just freaking amazing, dude. I can't believe it.
Like again, it's going to be a real interesting game come December because like having two top 5 defenses go against each other, and it's like I'm looking at it like, is it going to be one of those like 3 to 10 games, where it comes down to a single play? I'm a defense oriented guy. I played middle linebacker, nose guard, and when I had to, but having a defensive game like that, I'm actually really excited for.
We had defensive game against a couple teams last year. The Ravens was a defensive game. That was defensive all the way in. I mean, anytime you could hold the entire Ravens team to 2.3 yards a carry, that's a win.
Well, especially with a running quarterback as fast as Lamar Jackson is.
Yeah.
What would be your game plan against the Patriots? Say if Cam plays to his potential, that's possible. What's your game plan from you two? What would you guys do?
I would so play cover 3 and keep either Leonard or Okereke as a spy. Yeah.
And they're quick.
Mm-hmm.
For me, if we can find a way to eliminate the tight ends or at least, reduce their impact,
Judon and Henry, that's going to be, and I don't know what happened to these young kids that got drafted a couple of years ago that they were supposed to be the next great hope. I swear to God, anytime Ray talks about him, he seems like he's going to have a nervous breakdown.
Well, it is what it is. I mean, the Patriots have been always about their tight ends, and they had a couple drafts where the tight ends just didn't pan out, right? So that's why they went to free agency and was like, well, there's $25 million a year on tight ends.
Yeah, I mean, when I go up against you guys, like I'm just saying, okay, so defense is a wash. It's going to be offense versus offense. When I'm dealing with someone like Carson Wentz who can pick you apart legitimately, you got to rush him. Like, again, you got to get pressure up middle. You got to, start throwing things around because that kid, I don't really trust Philly fans because he really never had a fair shot in Philly, and his weapons, I'm not going to say were great and injury prone. I think he's going to do a lot of good for Indianapolis, whether it's going to be the next 2 years until you guys get your dream draft, or it's going to be, the next few years,
Yeah. So I'm just curious. I know it's a Colts stream, but you're a Patriots guy, and I join Patriots once in a while. I haven't done it lately. I think Ray hasn't really been around to do anything.
Oh, he's on vacation.
Yeah,
Vacation. Yeah.
But so what is the reports between Cam and your rookie?
Well, Cam is Cam. So what a lot of people forget is Cam is he's a good dude. Like, no one, everyone says he's a good dude, but he's a terrible quarterback. That's what all the negative people say. He's actually grooming the kid that everyone's crapping on him about, oh, he's going to take your job. You're not worth it. You're not worth your paycheck. And he's picking this kid up during training camp and saying, it's all right. It's only training camp. This is where you get comfortable. And this is why I scream to these guys, Patriots fans, or any other fan of any other organization. Give these rookies a chance to gain chemistry, get time in the league, and get comfortable. Because everyone who's screaming to get Mac Jones to play, you're setting yourself up to have a Darnold situation, or even maybe a Burrows. Like, Burrows is infinitely talented, but look at his knee. Look at the damage he's taken with those lumps. You don't put a rookie in first year. I'm generally the type of person, you let them sit for 1 to 2 seasons, let them know the organization, let them know the playbook, and then let them loose.
It also gives them a year to work on things that they're not good at.
Cam is the perfect mentor for that. Has anyone ever complained as Cam as a teammate?
Exactly. I mean,
right.
Cam's great at that.
People don't like him because he dresses.
Cam got interviewed yesterday, and they were sitting there saying, what did he say? He's as cool as the underside of a pillow when he was talking about. I was talking about the Rook, and I was just like, I love that. That right there just sums Cam up for me in a phrase. You know what I mean? Just laid back and having a good time.
Well, this is why I've never gone to broadcasting like you guys, because again, Patriots fan base is vicious. It is vicious. It is like, just go on Twitter. Like, you ever see the responses to people say anything positive about Cam? It turns into a half-an-hour debate. I daily block people. And it's just, I'm just saying, give him a fair shot, let him mentor the new kid. And, like, again, I'm kind of jealous of other fan bases because generally it's usually a more positive atmosphere with us.
I know. Well, I mean,
especially,
you could be the Philly fan base.
Well, we're not burning down buildings and flipping cars yet, but we're close. What were you saying, Colts Loyalist? I'm sorry, what was your first name again? I apologize.
Oh, that's right. Everybody calls me Chuck.
Thank you, Chuck. Okay.
Yep.
Well, what were you saying before? Sorry about that.
But no, what was I going to say? I don't remember now. You were talking about the positive and stuff. I mean, this is the time of year to be positive, fans. I mean, because the injuries haven't piled up, and so on and so forth. So just,
Yeah, my wife was yelling at me. It's like, why don't you do a show? It's just like, again, it's too toxic. It's not worth it. Like, no matter what amount of money I would take in, the amount of headaches I would have to deal with. Like, God bless Ray and Connor. I mean, they do their thing, but it's like, do I want to be under that kind of scrutiny, or would I rather chill and hang out with you guys or them and just chat about football and that's it,
But to be fair, I've seen Ray look at the comments, lose his crap, and end the stream. Okay? Right there. I've seen it happen. Okay? That's why I love covering the Colts. All right? Like you said, our fan base is freaking amazing.
Oh, my God.
They are, even when they're not optimistic, they're optimistic about something else. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, well, Wentz isn't the answer, but Eason might be, or something like that.
Future potential, not I need to win now. I need it now. It's this entitlement that I don't know where it seeped into my fan base, but it's like, like it's a breath of fresh air when I watched your training camp for the Colts. It's just like it's fun, it's lighthearted. People are saying positive things in the feeds. It's really a nice change of pace.
Well, another thing about, you were talking about Loyalist, about injuries not really piling up, in training camp. And even if they do pile up, if they're not season-ending injuries, it's no big deal because you got 6 weeks before the season starts.
It's like it's people, and again, it's media as well. I don't know if media is as vicious as it is in Indianapolis as it is here in the New England area, but it's like they pounce on anything. They're desperate for any sort of coverage, any sort of drama that they can drum up. Is it the same down your way? Or is it more of a positive aspect?
You will see them, if there is a negative, they will ride the negative because it is a click-based, situation when it comes to media because of social media and article writing and stuff like that. Like, was it yesterday they were talking about Jacob Eason didn't throw the ball down deep. He was always doing check downs. He was only 13 of 18 and had an interception. And I'm sitting there going, first off, 13 of 18, that's not bad. I would not complain about 13 of 18 in a game. Mm-hmm. Nah, 13 of 18 is perfectly okay. They were also doing third down drills. So, of course, he's not looking downfield. He's looking to move the sticks. That's why a lot of and Jacob Eason in college was known for being the guy who stared his receiver down and threw it deep all the time. So for him to actually go through his reads quick enough to get to his check down, in my opinion, is a positive thing, But they were still kind of pushing the whole, well, he's not throwing it downfield and, had an interception. And it's like, okay, he had an interception. He didn't have 5 interceptions in a training camp practice early on in training camp.
But you have a top 10 defense, top 5 maybe. Like, again, look at the talent you're going up against during practice. And it's like, I get the same thing with Cam or Mac. They get down because you throw 2 picks today. It's like, okay, look at our defense. You got Gilmore back there. You got J.C. Jackson. You got all these studs back there. Like, you think they're just going to lie down just to make the offense look good? No, it's their job too.
Well, here's another thing. I mean, these guys are working with brand new people. They're still trying to get their sync down, okay? They're trying to get synced down with the new players around them, especially if it's a new quarterback, right? With new receivers and new offensive linemen that they're working with and stuff. The defense walking in playing like they did last year. They ain't got to sync up with too much,
No.
But so they're playing at a full level while the offense is 2-3 days into trying to learn themselves again. I mean, of course the defense is going to be, especially early on in training camp, is going to win the majority of the battles.
And the thing that doesn't make any sense is you learn so much more from your mistakes than you do from your successes.
Thank you. Perfectly put. Perfectly put.
I mean, right now it's like, look, this is the time you want them messing it up. Just like I was telling Law today, watching Quiddy Pay. It was like a lot of times they were doing 2-play progressions and stuff, but every time Quiddy didn't accomplish his task or whatever, the coach pulled him out of the rotation, the first one, and broke it down for him right then and there.
That's learning.
And they used it as a coaching moment and then put them back in the rotation.
But I just think that media and social media have come together to create this monster of couch coaches. And I like saying couch coaches because it's like generally people who have had either less to no experience in anything to do with the NFL, who are just jumping on every little thing on these guys, and they're putting their bodies on the line for us. Let's be honest. The reason they make a crap ton of money is because, again, tomorrow they could have a broken leg that takes them out of the league, and their career is done.
Have you seen Chris Carter's fingers?
Oh, my God. Oh, that is not a mental image that I want to see.
Chris Carter's fingers look like a forest after a fire. I mean, they're just everywhere,
Look at Dak Prescott last year.
That's like on the Pat McAfee show.
AJ
He's got AJ Hawk, and AJ's got the fingers. But then you sit there and you listen to him talk about this laundry list of injuries he's had. And I'm not talking like a bruised rib. No, I mean a dislocated hip. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, these guys are doing this so they can make money and entertain us. Yeah, and we're going to sit here and get on our high horse. It's like, come on.
Well, just send love to my wife, by the way. So it's just funny. Like when I grew up, I was taught to respect players because, again, they've dedicated their entire life to a game that entertains us. I was talking to a gentleman. We were talking about Cam Newton, why you get so much hate, and it's just like, it's just some people around here cannot deal with someone different, and it's scary. It really is. Like I don't know what the reaction exactly was for Carson Wentz when he got brought, but he's definitely a veteran talent that can definitely teach the rookies up, or especially be, even if he loses a job, a fantastic backup. Did you guys get a lot of pushback on Carson?
No, actually, with Carson Wentz, as soon as he was signed, a lot of people got into looking at his film from last year, and there was a lot of optimism that, the Colts were just so much better of a team overall to put around Wentz than what Philly had last year. That, like we was looking at sacks, and we realized 12 sacks last year on Wentz was on Wentz. Those were on Wentz. But he had 50. 50 in 12 games. 50 sacks in 12 games. That means that 38 sacks of 12 games was on the team, not him.
Yes. What's that O-line? What is his? Again, your O-line is far more talented from what I've seen. Based on
one of the best in the NFL.
Yeah, I don't know what they're ranked on PFF, but they did do a little thing on that. But Lord knows I can't remember that stuff. That's what McChicken is usually for. But at the end of the day, it's just I see you guys having so much potential and doing so much damage in your division over the next 4 years. It's going to be real interesting to see.
Don't tell Titans fans that. Titans fans think that we're trash and that we're going to get stomped and they're going to go 14-3 and we're going to go 7-9.
Can I ask you a question? Okay, if Derrick Henry was not on that team, where would they be?
Well, it depends who's replacing Derrick Henry. If you're putting if you're putting a decent running back there, well, let's say you put Nick Chubb back there, all right, which is Derrick Henry-esque, only a step down. Okay,
step down. Yep.
I would
and
say,
less physical.
Yeah, I would say that they still do pretty good because I do think Ryan Tannehill is a good quarterback, and especially now that they got Julio. But Julio's not going to be elite for the next 5 years.
Well, who are you going to take, Tannehill or Carson Wentz? Who would you rather have on your team?
Ooh, see, that's tough because I haven't seen Carson Wentz play. Well, honestly, Carson Wentz from 2019 I was okay with. I thought Carson Wentz in 2019 was fine. They started having injuries on their team late that season, and that's when he started to look bad. That's going to happen with any quarterback.
I like Carson Wentz better for you guys. I don't think Tannehill is as good of a quarterback, and I don't think their defense is good as yours. Defense wins championships.
No, and that's the thing. I think that
they were the
for some reason when everybody talks about Tennessee and stuff, they just overlook the defense, and I just don't understand it because their defense is. I like some of the moves they made this year. I do, but I still think their secondary is easily torched.
I think the Titans have a top 5 offense in the NFL right now. If you look at it, just look at their starters. They have a top 5 offense. They were the 31st They were the 31st defense in the NFL last year.
And here's the other thing. Well, what are they if you take Derrick Henry out of the game and you put some pressure on Tannehill? And that's, again, you have a smart, fast team. What's going to happen when the running game isn't there? Are we going to trust Tannehill under pressure? No. That's why he's Tannehill. I'm sorry. I don't see him as a franchise leading quarterback. I'm sorry, Titans fans. You could have done better.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he was the perfect fit for the team.
What they could afford.
I think they're paying him $27 million a year now.
Ooh.
They've been paying him that since last year.
Really?
Yeah, they gave him like a 5-year, $27 million a year contract.
Yeah, which that surprised me last year. I really thought they were going to lowball him a little bit more than that. And when I see
or restructure.
Yeah, they gave him a big, long contract because, he came in, not this past year, but the year before when he went there and took over for Mariota when Mariota went down with the injury, and he played 10 games, and he had the second highest quarterback rating in the NFL. And then last year he had the second highest quarterback rating in the NFL. He's literally, Joe makes a good point in the chat. He's a perfect quarterback for Derrick Henry, right?
Yes. Yeah, thank you. But if you're the type of team, I know I'm like a Belichick fanboy, and that's fine. But what he specializes in is get rid of your greatest strength, and can your second best beat us? If you guys take out Derrick Henry and you guys apply pressure, I don't see you guys not being able to beat the Titans.
Right now, no, because honestly, A.J. Brown and Julio Jones are mid to deep threats. Who's he got to throw the football on short routes to? Nobody. If Jonnu Smith is gone, you ain't using him. I wonder where Jonnu Smith went.
No, we should thank you.
Yeah, right.
Now, here's the thing I don't understand.
What's the thing you don't understand?
I'm a trenches guy, and I don't see. You sit there and you take our offensive line and you compare them to their offensive line. You take our defensive line and compare them to their defensive line, and I don't see that they win either of those matchups. Okay.
They got a
then
decent
you add
offensive line, though. They do have a decent.
They have
Top
decent.
15.
Right, but what I'm saying is our offensive line, I think, is a top 3. Okay.
Yep.
And that's what I'm saying. I think we own both sides on the trenches. And I like what they did with the Danico Autry until I see a video of them in pass coverage. But I like the Danico Autry, but I'm not totally sold on the Bud Dupree.
No.
And
Dupree's
then you turn around and you sit there and add in their secondary, and it's like, how is it? Because I just out of curiosity yesterday after the Carson Wentz news, went and was checking it, and Titans they're like, oh, that's it, that's all we needed. And
sure,
I'm like, first off, you keep thinking that.
Dupree's got to prove that he could do anything on his own. With the Steelers, he had one good year, and he had 2 all-pro guys out there with him, with TJ Watt on the opposite end, and then he had that what's his name, that big D tackle that was in there as well, eating up double teams all the time. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Hayward?
No, not Cam. New Tuitt. Isn't it Stephon Tuitt? Hold on. Let me go look real quick.
Yeah. My thing is, one of the 3 things I'm most excited about from seeing the Colts, because again, I'm a football fanboy, not necessarily like 100% a Patriots fanboy, but I want to see your defense. I want to see how much havoc you guys can wreak in your division, number 1. Number 2, I want to see Carson Wentz do well, because I always thought he was a solid quarterback on the wrong team. And last but not least, who's your pass rusher? What's his name?
Walker, Kamoko Ture.
We don't have Justin Houston no more. We don't have Nico Autry no more.
It's a younger kid.
It's
a younger kid.
We drafted Kwity Paye.
Yes, thank you. I'm excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, and a lot of us from camp, I've been talking about Kamiko Ture. He's a second-round pick from 2018. he's been hurt, but when he's on the field, he's explosive. I mean, when we played against Kansas City, and he ended that game on injury, ended up on IR, but during that whole game, he had 5 quarterback pressures and a sack and a half against Patrick Mahomes. And that's with, from what I counted, 6 offensive holds against him. Like open, like the running back wrapped him up and took him to the ground. Offensive holds, like, oh my, how did you not call that? Kind of stuff.
And
it's like that.
Go ahead.
Okay, go. No, you go.
Okay, I was just going to say, we've sat here and we talked about these guys and stuff, and the thing is I don't think we've even discussed 2 of the guys that had major steps last year, and I mean, everything I've seen this year, and that's Grover Stewart and Tyquan Lewis. Mm-hmm. These 2 guys are coming in, and they don't look like they're starting, they look like they're starting where they left off last year. And like we said earlier, Grover today, he looked like he was being shot out of a cannon.
I love defensive-minded teams. Like, I'm that kind of nerd. I want to see pass rush. I want to see tricky blitzes. I want to see pass coverage that shifts on the line. I want to see crazy stuff like that. And generally, like teams like yourself, the Patriots, which are very similar in a lot of ways, I'm very excited to see those games.
Yeah.
Me and Lawrence are talking to each other in the YouTube chat. But I think this is going to be a very interesting season. Now, I hate to say it, and it is Tom Brady. Do you think anyone out there is going to be able to knock them off their perch?
Rams.
Like, are they going to unfold, or are they just going to be destructive yet again?
I think the Rams are the best team in the NFC this year. I really do.
Really?
Yeah. I think they edge out Tampa Bay. Tampa's got the best run D in football, period. End of story. I understand that. Mm-hmm. I get that. Their D-line is nasty. And they play incredibly physical at cornerback on that. And then, of course, they've got everyone that they want on offense.
Yeah. I don't know how the salary cap works, but it seems to not be relevant to certain teams. I don't know what that is.
Right. Tampa Bay and Kansas City, for some reason, they got an unlimited salary cap. But, dude, with the Rams Tampa had the best run defense, but the Rams had the number 1 defense in football overall, right? I mean, they were good against the pass. And they were solid. I think they were 3rd or 4th against the run, right behind Indy.
Yeah. I'm surprised the first time we played them, we beat them by that much. It's like they unfolded.
It's because Goff is at quarterback.
Because he's young and inexperienced, or not as good as advertised.
Now it's because now Stafford's back there, and that team with those weapons, Matt Stafford is going to freaking light the scoreboards up, I think.
And this is no knock on Tom Brady or anything. I understand he's the GOAT, but if you compare Matt Stafford this year to what you think you're going to get from Tom Brady, I would pick Matt Stafford. Okay, and I'm not talking about career-wise. I'm talking about just this year.
I need the fact that you have to say that. I like Tom Brady. I was a fan of his, but I'm not a sycophant of his. I'm not going to buy his TB12. I'm not buying his stupid meals. At the end of the day, great career, but we got to start being able to talk about other quarterbacks without saying, well, Tom Brady's the GOAT. We understand that. Again, I hate feeding into that whole TB12 cult fanaticism.
And the Colts had something similar to that 2 years ago. Yeah. We had a kicker who had an amazing career.
Maybe you heard of him.
Yeah. Yep. I have one of his.
He had a bad year, and a lot of people were giving him passes. You know what I mean? And we're like, look, you keep doing this, it's going to catch up with. I named my son after Adam Vinatieri, okay? So I am a total fan, but I'm also going to sit there and admit that his final year was, and I think he would too, his final year was not anything that you would want to sit and have at that position.
It's like Peyton Manning. Had Peyton Manning not won the Super Bowl on his final year, that would have been a horrible way to go out.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Like I've always respected Peyton. Again, but I generally hated him as a competitor standpoint, just because like when he figures out your number and he knows what's going on, like he was just tenacious. He would pick you apart, and then he would talk trash while he was doing it. He was like, again, him in the pocket was great to watch.
Yeah, I found out Rivers is a lot like that last year. We found out Phillip Rivers was exactly like that. If he found something that he could take advantage of, he would hammer it home over and over and over and over, even if it wasn't him. Even if it was like, okay, so the running back is going to get the edge every time. I'm just going to hand the ball off to the running back. And then I'm going to get in the linebacker's face and say, he's got the edge on you. You know?
That's like the day when we were sitting there and they started, the whole team just went to the other field opposite of where we were. So I'm sitting there talking to my son and stuff, and I'm like thinking to myself, there was two things I sort of miss seeing. Number one is Peyton Manning during a practice. I mean, it was stupid. Okay, I mean, if somebody dropped a pass, you know, you thought the world had ended. You were doing that play again and that play again.
Perfectionist.
The second thing that I find in this one was the one that stood out to me was I remember sitting there watching Saturday and Wrights and all these guys get off the bus or, you know, get out there on the field. But, man, I'll tell you what, you look at this team we're putting on the field now, and, I mean, just the size difference. I mean, it is remarkable. And I'm not knocking the Colts from earlier, you know, from the Peyton era and stuff.
Yeah, but just the difference in talent level, you know, and I look at your defensive line and I don't like it. I don't like it with Cam being a running quarterback. It's, you know, like, and I respect him. My vote is to have him play for at least another season or two until Mac's ready. But that defensive line that you guys got has got something special. I really do think so.
I think so. The only question that we had was edge rush. You know, that was the worry that we had, but they're looking good so far in practice, you know, overall. So,
you know, I was going through today's roster. Do you realize that we do not have a single cornerback or safety that is smaller than anybody we had starting? You know, when we had Toller and we had, you know what I mean? Our cornerbacks and safeties, they're not small either.
And you guys develop well in Indianapolis. You bring up guys that no one even thinks about, and then all of a sudden they're like in the top 10, top 15 bracket of defensive players. You know, it's really a sight to see. It's really interesting.
I think that's how we've managed to keep our undrafted free agent streak of 21 or 22 years. I mean, like you said, you know, they have just always been really good at, you know, coaching them up.
What's the big now coming from, like, I know what my team's like, what I want to see from my team. What's a hole or weakness that you're viewing right now that you want to see filled? What do you feel that could be lacking, that could be that potential that would bring you to, I'm guaranteeing this a playoff season?
Ooh, that's a good question. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Pass rush. I'm not saying that we don't have the guys on the roster right now.
Yep.
But the pass rush for me is just, it's so crucial. I mean, I understand that we have some question marks in the secondary.
None of them are proven. That's the problem.
Right.
Yes. You know, it's game time. Preseason games are going to say a lot. Because if I can see you guys start developing pressure, you guys are going to have a real interesting season.
I mean, there's okay, so the Colts play a zone coverage, right? And that relies that relies on pressure on the quarterback to make him throw early or throw, before he's ready to or whatnot. And that's how you get turnovers. That's how you get things like that. And right now, that's a big deal. I mean, Quiddy pays a rookie. We don't know. We got 3 second-round picks sitting on the other edge that we don't know about. We did pick up Isaac Rochelle from the Chargers, who actually reminds me of a younger Danico Autry, and I think he'll do okay. But, yeah, the pass rush is so important to a zone coverage, whereas the Patriots like to play man more often, right? So,
Joseph was saying left tackle. He's concerned at left tackle.
Well, yeah,
what's the concern there?
Well, that's because Eric Fisher is still, working through. By the way, Eric Fisher has been out there every day running. He's dealing with that Achilles injury. He's been out there running. So that tells me if he's running and doing hard starts, and running, he's getting closer and closer. So
they wouldn't let him touch the field if it was a serious injury.
Yeah,
I would severely doubt that.
He's not dressed and practicing or nothing like that, but he's out on the field doing that stuff, right? So yeah, I think Fisher's going to be okay. But the backups, that's the worry right there, because we got some guys that question marks, right?
And I wanted to ask you too about the new news about Julio Jones. Did you guys read the article on Julio Jones, and he's currently under investigation?
I've seen it. I didn't read all deep into it. I mean,
I read the whole article. If you guys want to hear about it, it's pretty amazing.
Really, it's amazing.
Literally, he's under investigation for selling marijuana black market in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
See, it's funny because 4 years ago you could only sell marijuana black market. Okay, I mean, in Indiana you can still only sell marijuana black market. All right, but I mean, I seen that, I heard it, and if he that much, that's a lot. Felony.
That's capital F felony, federal felony.
Yeah. And
how?
Hey.
Why? That's why. How much more money does Julio need?
That question sounds very that question sounds very familiar to why did Michael do the dog fighting? You know what I mean?
Why did Aaron Hernandez do what he did?
Yeah. I was just going to keep it to the Atlanta thing. But
I don't know how much harder the Atlanta Falcons can get kicked, but my God, they cannot get a piece of good news. Can you imagine being part of that fan base?
They tried to formulate their own good news and was like, Pitts has the longest wingspan in the last 20 years for any tight end in the NFL. And then I was like, no.
I saw your tweet. It was so savage. This guy was so proud of his statement, and it was so factually wrong. He just ruined his day. It was so great. It was so great.
Did you see his rebuttal? That was hilarious. He's like, it's been pointed out to me by a few hundred people. Pitts has the second longest.
We have a guy like that in New England. His name is Spike King. I don't know if Ray has complained about him to you, Lawrence, but he literally got called out by Hightower's wife because he said Hightower was retiring. People close to him say he's retiring, and his wife's like, "I guess I'm not close to my husband."
That's great. I'll tell you what. I don't know if you know Mo Alley Cox for the Colts, the tight end.
The name sounds very familiar. I think I've watched film on him.
Okay, so Mo Alley Cox, if you stand, you know how big DeForest Buckner is?
Yeah, big man. ridiculous.
Big man. You could stand him beside him and you'd think they were brothers. He's a big dude. I mean, Mo Alley Cox towers over an entire offense.
Mo Alley Cox is just, I mean, as far as thickness, he is lacking, but not by a margin that's that noticeable.
He looks like a defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he really does.
Is he gonna be that type of guy who's gonna be knocking down passes, short passes, and stuff like that? Is that your hope right there?
He's a tight end that he's already really good at blocking, but you would expect that from his size. But last year he started to break out, and then our left tackle got hurt, Anthony Costanzo, and then he had to be held in for blocking. But he was starting to break out in the passing game. Like, they were throwing him the ball, and when you're 6'7", 260 pounds, right? And you got a wingspan of 7 foot 1 inches.
With hands like this.
It has, 11 and a half inches, I believe. 11 and a half inches of hand size. Yeah, it's ridiculous. He palmed a ball once that was thrown to him in the end zone. Just reached up and
say hi
palmed
to Law
it.
Dog, honey.
Hi, how are you?
My wonderful wife is here. She doesn't want to get on camera.
No, but I got you back.
She spoils me. She got me some booze.
Yeah, go figure. I know you and your little cups of booze. Oh, we got you on camera.
That's my wonderful wife.
Awesome.
Even though our wedding's been put off multiple times because of this horrible COVID.
That's okay. I understand. It's how you feel on the inside's all that matters, anyhow.
I married her the day I put the ring on her finger in our dining room. Her friend told me not to wait. Just do it when she gets home. She's been waiting long enough.
Oh my goodness, this was a great stream, man. This is the longest.
By the way,
second longest live stream.
Because I talk too much. Yes, probably that. But again, I like you guys because again, you guys are just naturally just football nerds, and I like that. You know, generally that's the type of people I want to talk to, not the entitled fans who want to argue about one singular player. Let's talk about the whole team and what they bring together as a whole.
I got a question.
Go.
Every time I join Ray's stream, when I leave, I feel like they're trying to blow smoke up my butt.
Mm-hmm.
When they're talking about, he's a great guy, he knows more about football than the blah 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 and smart. And you think he's being honest when he says stuff like that, or does he does that with everybody?
No, especially with you. It's one of the reasons I started watching your content, and it's the reason kind of Ray pushed me towards your content, is because we respect your knowledge of the sport, your breakdown films, and everything else, and the amount of time and work you put into that. It just shows a level of knowledge that, again, we would have to work very hard to get to that point, So it for coming from Ray. Ray is not that deep. Let's be honest. He's not. Me and Ray are the type of people, we don't have enough depth to be deceptive, to be honest. I think Ray, at the end of the day, is a solid dude that tries to do way too much. He works a full-time job. He runs the show. He does Patreon. He's doing the news break thing and everything else. So it's his mind is always going 100 beats a minute. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the reason he has you on the show is because he respects you, and Ray is the type of guy where what he says to you is what he means.
See, I love Ray. Ray's a great guy. I feel like we're one of the best. We became really close friends, ever since
I've never watched Colts content before I met you.
Yeah, but see, I get a lot of people that come in and people I've met at training camp or Joe here or some other people that join my stream and they talk and they talk me up and tell me stuff. And don't get me wrong, guys, I feel like I do put in some work and I do try to learn things. I put forth the effort to do it.
Yep.
But
dude,
I
when
don't
you
see myself. I don't see myself as that much more knowledgeable than anybody else.
Well,
you know.
well, go ahead.
I will just say, and this is more of a personal thing. Before I started this show, I didn't even have a YouTube channel or anything. And my nephew was like, COVID had kicked in, and so my nephew sat there and got me on YouTube, or got me a YouTube subscription, and I was checking it out. And like you said, I'm a diehard Colts fan. Okay.
Mhm.
So I got on, first thing I did, Colts. And I got on all these different podcasts. And I did this for like 3 or 4 months. I think I told you that part.
Yep.
But the thing was I would have never even, I've after I started this show, I started commenting on some of the other channels, just hey, my little bit or piece or whatever. But I was the guy that just sat back, hit the like button, and went to the next show. Sit back, hit the like button. You know what I mean? Because I didn't have anything.
You and me both.
Dude, I'll tell you right now, you put 2 offers out. The first time you offered me, I chickened out because I was like, I enjoyed the Colts. Okay. I knew peripheral type of information about other teams, but I didn't have the in-depth knowledge, that you had. And then I was sitting there watching these shows and watching, these podcasts, and aside from, a couple people, I didn't buy into their knowledge of other teams. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then you get a guy who hates having his picture taken. So now I'm going to sit here for an hour and a half staring at a camera. It's like when you had that tripod out and you're like, you're just sort of in the shot. You got to get more in there. I'm like, nah, I don't.
Nah.
But what I'm trying to say is the knowledge you have is awesome, but the way that you communicate it, the way that you can sit there and break it down and make it digestible for those people. I mean, I understand football, but whenever I was talking to all my family and friends, I had to explain it, because I mean, they're asking me what's a cornerback, what's a safety, what's a slot corner, questions like that. You know what I mean? And I was terrible at explaining it. I had to get the board and easel out and be, do this. And then sitting there watching you, like I said, I watched you, and you put the offer out the first time, and I was like, no. And the second time, I was like, I'm going to do it. And then I spent the whole next day going, man, I shouldn't have reached out. But it was just because of the way that you communicate things and make it understandable that I respect the heck out of.
Hey, Joe, how's your moving? Are you about done? I know that you've been moving since mid-April. I didn't know John Madden Jr. I don't know if I'm John Madden Jr. But yeah, I just want to know how the moving's going for you. I understand that we've had this back and forth through Patreon and didn't know how things were going. But no, guys, I've been, like you said, Ross, I'm an NFL fan. That's what I am.
First and foremost.
Yeah, big NFL fan. And I started doing the podcast for the Colts. And then I was like, the best way for me to break games down is to actually know the teams that the Colts are going to play, because just half the table ain't going to get you a good prediction on a game. So I started watching other teams and other games and understanding their philosophies and their players and their coaching, and it makes it so much easier for me to look at any game and go, this is the team that's going to win, and this is why. I'm not just going to throw a score out there and go, the Raiders are going to beat the Broncos 26-7, and then that's it. He's gone. He left.
Yeah. I started going, where's he at?
So we lost contact, but now it's to the point where, I get to the point now where I watch everything. I have watched every game from last year at least 3 times. Every game. And not just the game film. I've watched the all 22 at least 3 times every game. And I get that that's a lot of work, and people just don't have time to do that. But I quit my job, my daytime job, and made this my daytime job, basically, so that I could do that, so that I could bring that information to guys like you and everybody else, and Ross if he ever joins back. But
well, I'll tell you right now, I've always thought I've loved football. I love playing it. I love being coached at it. I mean, but I will tell you, I was the guy, obviously, like you said, you know, I had a job and stuff. So I loved the Colts. I could answer a lot of questions about the Colts. But watching you understand, like you said, the other side, the other team, I always got that just from national media. I was just like, you know, I digested what I could off NFL Network or whatever, you know, national media platform. But I didn't realize until listening and watching you how not accurate is the best way I could put it. How it's not accurate. How incomplete their information is. You know what I mean? Like you said, you know, sometimes you hear the national media get a hold of something, and then that's their narrative. Jonathan Taylor is a good example. He's got fumble problems. His first fumble, and his only one, the national media was acting like, see, we were right. We told you this kid, you know what I mean? And it's like, stop it.
Well, it's like they bash these kids before they even get a chance to play.
I got bashed so hard last offseason when the Colts picked up Roosevelt Nix from the Steelers. And I did a film room, and I did a film room on him and said Roosevelt Nix is a terrible fullback. He was great a couple years ago, all-pro fullback a couple years ago. But last year he was awful, and here's why. And this is why he will not make the Colts 53. And I got bashed so hard for that stream. Go back and look at it, you guys. You know, if you're watching this stream or something, go back and check it out. Because I did. I got bashed in the comment section hardcore. Got bashed on social media. Guess what? Not only did Roosevelt Nix not make the 53 on the Colts, he's still unemployed.
Now, the question is, how many people come back and said, oh, okay, we got you?
No, not a single one. And
yeah.
and I gave him credit. He used to be good, but he fell off a cliff.
Yes,
and that's the problem, you know?
No, I'm just wondering. Stop!
So, yeah, I don't know.
I love you.
I love you too.
Sorry, I'm not Kurt. But you know, it's just you know, again back because I don't know how much I missed since my computer had a little issue. For whatever reason, my green screen's no longer working, so it's interesting. But I think the reason that people gravitate you, like for me personally, you're welcoming, you're not divisive, and the fact is that you like me and Chuck here, we're fans of the sport before anything else.
Yeah.
You know, we love football for the fact that it's football, you know, and nothing's going to change that. You know, we try not to dwell on the negatives and everything else. We try to, at least most of the time, try to stay positive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So again, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I agree with you with the whole, you know, trying to stay positive and being a fan of the sport itself. I've been asked to join other people's streams to talk about other teams, not the Colts. I've been asked to join another. That's sweet. But I was asked to join the Buffalo Bills podcast to talk about the Patriots.
Oh, interesting.
And I told them, and they were like, how much do you know about the Patriots? And I was like, I know quite a bit about the Patriots. Yeah. And, well, can you talk about it? I was like, yeah, but I'm honest with my opinions. I'm not going to blow smoke up somebody, you know, for one specific player. If I like them, I like them. If I don't, I don't. And I don't care what the media thinks. I don't care what other people say. You know, I look at the tape, I form my own opinion, and I give that opinion that I see. That's why I have arguments with a lot of people as well who are, you know, pretty popular big names in, you know, local media right here in in Indy, because I've sat down and I was like, you know what? I disagree with your take on this person, and here's why. And here is why. And that's the great thing about, you can disagree all you want. Once you start calling someone names or can't come up with reasons for your opinion, legitimate ones, then your entire opinion is null and void, in my opinion.
Well, that's the same reason why I don't get involved with a lot of the certain Patriots media types, and I will never name names, because again, these people are the type of people that will ruin a live stream or ruin your day just because they have a difference of opinion. Like, I welcome debate. I welcome people like, oh, you got stats to back that up. That's interesting. I'll take that into account. But I think it's something with this young crowd that they're quick to be aggressive, and they're less likely to debate a subject and more to name call, insult, or like take their time out to ruin your day.
I know so many podcasters, big podcasters, that have damn near quit because of what you're talking about. Because they'll state something that they think, and then other people will jump on a band. It's like becomes a bandwagon, and like everyone who disagrees with you will jump on it, and it's not just a disagreement at that point. It becomes a personal issue, and they start attacking you, you know, and
that's one of the reasons I hate my fan base. Like, I hate 50% of my fan base, and I could never thoughtfully start a YouTube channel with the type of stress Ray and Connor go through on a day-to-day basis. It's so fractured, it's gross.
It also has a lot to do, I think, with the person doing the YouTube. Like, some people can handle criticism, even ugly criticism, better than others, you know? And if you handle ugly criticism right, like we're sitting here talking right now, and this was a live stream, if this was public currently on YouTube right now, which it's not, obviously, we all know this is Patreon, but let's say I had like a Titans fan jump on and start just trashing and laughing about Carson Wentz or something like that, about him being injured and
hoping for injury.
Huh?
And hoping for injury.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. Okay, first off, I will not ignore it unless there's like dirty words that I can't, you know, say, you know, because monetization. But I won't ignore it. I'll bring it up. I'll highlight it. And then I will put a logical argument against whatever it is that he's saying, you know, and not be vicious or mean about it. Just, I might laugh, you know, if I see something that's obviously trolling, I will bring it up, laugh about the comment, and then say, this is why I think you're wrong, you know?
Yes, exactly.
And the next thing you know, no more comments from that person, because you did not bite into it, and he didn't get that reaction that he wanted from you. And that's a problem. 'Cause a lot of YouTubers and podcasters, when they get that, they take it personal, they get angry, and then they lose it. The way Ray used to, you know, like last year. And I sat down and I told him, you know, how I did it. He's gotten a lot better at it as of late, you know, with dealing with trolls and stuff like that.
Chuck, have you had to deal with that very much?
No, sir. Like I said, up until 6 months ago, 7 months ago, you know, my experience was I was the guy laying in the weeds.
But even the great thing is, because I have built a fan base like I have, I don't get those trolls very much anymore. You know, I've had trolls. They'll sprinkle in from time to time, but they leave because they know they're not getting what they want out of me. And so that helps. That helps when you have guests on, that helps. When you know, like my co-host here, don't have to deal with it nearly as much in the chat, things of that nature. So it's all how you deal with certain things. Just approach it like it's a person in real life. You know, don't get angry with them. Just look at them and say, I don't think so. You know,
I don't agree. Yep.
I don't agree. It's funny. You said what you said is funny. It's absolutely hilarious. But this is why you're not right, at least in my opinion. You know,
I'm pretty sure that's probably how you got at least 1 or 2 subscriptions.
I have. I've gotten subs from trolls that are no longer trolls.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is freaking awesome.
Oh,
Well,
here
Ross,
we go. Oh, Matthew said something for you, by the way.
Doing DraftKings fantasy games and doing my first ever NFL model for sportsbook betting has made me a bigger fan of the game and league as a whole, not just my team. See, that's awesome. That's awesome. Getting into it doesn't matter how you get into it, but sure, loving football is one thing. Supporting your home team. There's some people that become fans of the Colts just because it's their home team. You know, they live in Indiana. They don't know nothing about football, right? But you get into it one way or another because, you know.
I thought it was in your blood in Indianapolis.
No.
I thought it was force-fed India when you came out of the womb.
Basketball
Here's
is
a
in the
football.
blood of everyone in
Ooh. I'm a shorter white guy. I mean, like stocky. The only thing I can do is trip people up. No.
No. You know what we do here in Indiana? If you're a short white guy, you better learn to shoot.
Yeah. Yeah.
John Stockton style.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's or Aaron Bailey from IU. But
There you go.
but I grew out of basketball because Matthew said it right there. Because basketball has become more of a me sport, at least at the professional level, right?
Yes.
At the NBA level. And where football, no matter how big you are, you're only as big as the other 10 guys on the field with you. You know what I mean? And that's
what about Tom Brady? He was the Patriots. He was the
He's
was the
only
Patriot
as
way.
good as the rest. He would not have won a Super Bowl ever had he been a member of the Cleveland Browns during that era.
I had to block so many people when I said Tom Brady should be respected, but he is a player like anyone else. He is as good as the players around him. And what did that 2019 season show? When the supporting cast isn't there, what happens?
Exactly.
And again, it's a team sport, 100%, like Matthew and Joseph are saying.
Yeah, that's exactly it is the perfect team sport. Now, see, that's why I like covering the Indy Express, because they are a professional basketball team, but they're like G League, you know, and they understand.
Fundamentals.
The fundamentals and understanding, hey, you know, you're only as good as the guy playing basketball next to you. You know?
I'm glad your transmission is still holding up, by the way.
Thank you so much. Yeah, man.
No. It's not about that. Don't bring that up.
No. Okay, so look. I mean, that transmission not only got me back and forth to all of those games so I could do my job, which, by the way, helps me out here, which allows me to do this full time. Yes. This is my full-time job, which now, you know, I don't have to go take another full-time job back at Walmart or something. But it allows me now to go to Colts camp, which brings extra content, which allows me to have more inside information because I'm seeing it with my own eyes, you know? So, yes, that transmission has been like my lifesaver, has been a life changer for me over the past 3 months.
Well, I was more making a joke about your truck more than anything,
yeah.
How old that thing might be. Is it from the 80s? Like, what are we talking about here?
What, my truck?
Yeah.
It's an 04 Trailblazer.
Okay. But no, I was more making a joke about that. You don't have to heap any praise on me or anything like that. It was, But again, I wanted to just sneak in a little joke about your truck. That's all.
I love my truck. I mean, it's an SUV, but it's a truck. You know what I mean?
It's a truck trend. Let's be honest.
Yeah. But it's got room. That's why I love that damn thing. Because I'm 6'6". I'm a big dude. Ask Loyalist. He came and picked me up. He picked me up Wednesday for the first time.
Wednesday, he got in my car, and he looked like one of those Transformers once he got out. And it wasn't a small car. Ross, it was so bad I had to go buy me another car.
I saw
he did pick me up in a new car today. That was funny.
I did pick him up in a new car, but that was something that was already in the works.
Is that why Lawrence looked the way he did? He looked very unhappy in one of the photos you put on Twitter. Was it that hot at the camp that day?
Yeah, it was. It was, and the sun came out. It went from like being 81 to like 99 with 100% humidity.
Yeah, because it was one of those real foggy mornings, and it was an 8 o'clock. We got there. I mean, we were wiping the moisture off the bench, but all that moisture was there in the sun. The sun just came in and turned it into a microwave.
Yeah.
God bless you guys living down that way, below that Mason-Dixon line, or is it below?
No, it's above.
No, it's above.
We're above, but Indiana's a weird state. Indiana is a weird state because it could be 105 degrees one day, and then literally I've seen it snow the next day. Okay.
So you're like a hotter New England. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's terrible. It could be it'll go from, I've seen in the year 105, and then in the wintertime it'd be 30 below, and 16 inches of snow on the ground. Same year. But yeah, I mean, Indiana's a weird state. It's that whole rule. You don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes.
Yep.
But yeah, I got in Loyalist's car on Wednesday, and I'm literally like this.
Yep.
My knees are up in my chin. It was, but I mean,
I got to get a big car myself. I'm built like a brick, so generally I got to be the type of guy. I'm like, let's be honest. If I'm being generous at 5'7", but I have the width of probably 3 to 4 feet. Let's be frank here. But like literally, I drive a Wrangler, like 4-door Wrangler, and like anything. If I go to anything smaller now, like I'll probably hate my life.
Yeah, I went from the car I had before that was a Pontiac.
Solstice.
No.
Convertible.
Sunfire.
Ooh. How did you get in that car?
Very carefully.
Did you take out the back seat like Hightower in Police Academy? Did you take out the front seat and sit
Believe it or not, it had a ton of room once you got in, because the seat would scoot all the way back to the back seat. I mean, the back is like flush, right? So you got plenty of room once you get in. But
is one of your kids named Pontiac? Do we need to know about this?
But it's so low that it was being 6'6", it was really difficult getting in and out of the car. That oh shit handle was there for a reason for me.
Chuck's battery's about to die. What are you at, 5% right now?
It hasn't dimmed yet, but I just want.
This is the longest he's been on a live stream ever. It's almost
And the worst part was my wife was with me, and we got caught in the traffic, so I didn't get it to 100% before the show started.
And you can't plug it in while you're streaming?
What's that?
You can't plug it in and stream at the same time?
No, because of the holder that I'm using to keep the phone stable.
I gotta admit, that camera quality is pretty good on your phone. What are you rocking there?
Just a 5G, and went and got me went and got me a 5G phone when Lawrence said, yeah, he goes, I'll take you on. I was like, okay, cool. What do I need?
You need a decent camera and a decent mic, and that's all.
Connor from DPN did that for like a solid year. You got nothing to worry about. My wife got an iMac, and I'm just like, okay, I'll use this.
Yeah, that's like I was asking him how you did your little background and did all that stuff with Warren. And then I was like, how do you do this Twitter thing where you can put it in a box? And he's like, all that you need a computer for. I'm like, don't have one of those.
Well, you can do it on the phone, but it's really annoying. You can.
Very, very really difficult. Yeah.
And I got fat fingers, so me trying to do anything on my phone, even though it's the biggest phone I've ever bought, sausage fingers and Italians, like phones and Italians, just don't work out very well.
Stansberry says his first was a shit vet.
The Chevette.
That's what I used to call. I don't know, from Indiana, my family, we always called them shit vets.
I had the Blues Brothers car, 84 Caprice Classic.
My first car ever was an 85 Cavalier. And it was a cheap little, road vehicle. You know what my dad's first car was? And he still owns it?
Ford Model T?
No. No, it's Fred Flintstone's car. No.
Yabba dabba doo.
71 Super B.
Oh, God. Does he still have that in the garage somewhere? Please, please tell me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
still
a beautiful thing.
Under 10,000 miles.
I'm hoping you're going to be inheriting that at some point, right?
I hope so. I hope it doesn't go somewhere else. But
what's that interior like as far as space?
Beautiful.
Oh my God, everything's a bench seat.
Okay.
A Datsun. Wow.
Ooh, Datsun. 74. Wow.
My dream car, since we're here and we're on Patreon and he's got like 5% left. What's your dream car?
Mine?
Everybody. We'll start with you, Loyalist. What is your dream car?
One that's paid for right now. Right now, that's all I can afford. So,
if someone was like, I own every car ever made, they're all in mint condition,
and paid
like
for
right off the lot, and I'm going to give it to you for $1. Which car would you?
It's 1977 Cutlass Supreme Brougham.
There we go.
I'm a big guy. I like to sit there and, like you said, be able to have my room and yeah, that was my car.
Nice.
Ooh. I got too many favorites. Me and my wife are car nerds. Like, literally, we watch Top Gear. We watch Grand Tour. We love so many cars. She has like a 99 Mazda Miata, which you can guess is cramped for a big guy like me. But once you start driving it, it's a fun little drive. But if I had to say something off the top of my head, something ridiculous that I would own would probably, an original Dodge Charger, probably from the 60s or 70s. 2-door, black on black, black leather, something menacing, something you would see in something you would see from a baddie from a movie back in the day.
If I could fit into a 1965 GTO, which I don't know, I have never been in one, but as far as the outside look of them and stuff, I sure do like the bow ties.
I'll take a 68 Shelby Cobra.
Oh, I bet you will.
My friend, I sat in one at an auto show. Okay,
really?
They let people get into it. It was a kit car. Don't get me wrong. No one's letting you sit in the original, but I'll tell you what, my knees were hitting the dash.
Oh, I wouldn't be able to drive it. I'd just be there for like.
They would have to lengthen the car for you, buddy. But the benefit is you can reach stuff on the top shelf. So we all have our crosses to bear.
Yeah, we the first car I ever drove was my dad's '79 Z28.
Ooh.
with the 350. Yeah.
I love the sound of a V8. I'm just a V8 nerd. You know, like again, when you hear a rumble,
68 was
from
a
a
good year
V8,
for all cars.
man, like the Vet. You remember the Stingray? Oh,
Yeah.
that's so
The
much
Vet,
good.
yeah.
Split
My
window.
wife's father, yeah. My wife's father had a 60-something Mustang in green. Beautiful car. They told it. I saw pictures of it prior to that. And then they had kids and he got like a family car. It was pretty funny.
Man, it don't get any better than this. A bunch of guys sitting around talking about football and cars. That's how
Hey,
it
we're not
works.
drinking yet.
Yeah. I beg to differ. I think you are, but anyhow, I think we're going to probably end up letting Loyalists go. We've been here 2 hours, guys, and I think we're going to kill it here. Yeah, the Shelby Cobras were amazing because, I mean, come on, the 68 Shelby Cobra, it won. It was the first car ever to win the Euro, wasn't it?
Yep. It was that.
The first American car to win the Euro, beating out the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis and all those. Yeah.
It's just seeing an American car. Like, let's be honest, our cars are not built to corner. They're straightaway speed. That's our cars. That's what we wanted.
That was my dad's 71 Super B, straight away.
Don't try to take a turn.
No, my dad's 71. I was in that sucker once, and we was at a racetrack in Muncie, and it was an actual straightaway race thing for people for road cars, and guy pulls up in a brand new fucking V10 Vet, and it's like, I'll take you, and Dad said, no you won't, no you won't. He said, we're not doing the circle. This is just the quarter-mile straightaway, right? He said, yeah. He says, I'll beat you, and I'll beat you with at least a second to spare.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, there's no way. I spent like $300,000 on this car, and Dad said, I've been offered more than that for mine. And it was nasty. I mean, my God.
But those cars back then, like, I feel like ever since we moved to the plastic age, we've lost something in translation. You remember we used to get into a car, everything was like chrome handles or, great touch, leather seating, bench seating. You could cram 12 of your friends in there, no problem, And now I just think there was a lot lost in translation, over the years, which was kind of sad to me.
Bye, Loyalist.
Bye, buddy.
I hope you get your phone charged soon. But yeah, my dad's car still has the original orange paint with the blue pinstripe. So yeah.
The best car my dad had, I think, was a Ford Explorer 2-door. We grew up pretty poor.
Oh no, that was a Bronco. I was going to say, was it white? But no,
that's
a Bronco.
Yeah, no. My dad's not OJ.
Oh, okay.
Cut left / right. Don't mind if there's noise in the background. I'm making my wife some chicken nuggets.
It's all good. I need to eat too, man.
Dude,
I stopped and got Arby's earlier. Yeah, Mopar orange. Yep.
Hey, did you start updating your book collection yet?
Not yet. I need to. But yeah, Stansberry, MTS, we're going to end this right now anyhow. I'm going to go live tomorrow right after. I'm going to turn this public around 6, and then I'll go live at 6 as well. All right? Like actual live public. So
yeah, very cool.
But that's cool. If you guys are more than welcome to hang out. I don't know. We need to do this more often. Joe, MTS, anyone else that watches this and you're on Patreon, be like Ross. Come join in the fun. It's great to be able to sit down and talk and have fun, man.
It's just having a beer with friends, guys. It's all the only way you gotta look at it. Yeah. We all want to hear from everyone, This is a football is a fun community is what it should be.
Exactly. Well, guys, thanks again for showing. I'm going to jump out of here. Have a good one, all.